Okay, guys, so welcome. We are thrilled that you chose to take about 45 minutes out of your very busy day to connect with myself and Sean Hopkins. Your sales team, along with other key executives in the company, have been, over the last several weeks, really looking at your businesses, the success of the company, and we could not be really any more excited about the journey that we've been on for the last 6 months. Think about where we were in January, where we kind of turned the corner. We had introduced new pricing and a new comp plan, and we really were anticipating amazing things. We allowed ourselves kind of January, February to get comfortable with some of those changes, and you embraced that beautifully. We got to March, and something happened in the world, which has really kind of taken us back on our heels a little bit as individuals, and now we are looking for our new way of interacting and staying connected with community and family and friends. And I will say to you, the Juice Plus company, from March all the way until end of June business, we couldn't be stronger. It's a really exciting time, and it's because of people and leaders just like yourself. One thing that Sean came to me a month ago and was like, hey, Janet, we're a little curious around promotions, like what's happening, who's going to be your next NMD, who's going to be the next PMD plus. And as we started kind of digging in, we began to recognize that there were a few things along that journey, the promotions journey, that might have been tripping some people up. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand this call over to Sean, who's really going to take us through what I think is going to be the best next version of an already amazing 2020. So Sean, if you want to take it from here, I think you're going to share your screen.
I will in just 1 second, Jan. I just want to see a few faces first. I mean, what I like a lot about July the 7th was it was less than a month ago that we last gathered with this group, right? When we showcased the first reveal of our completely overhauled digital ecosystem and what a response we had from that. And how cool was it to invite QSSCs, as part of the leadership group into the know at the earliest stages of the game. So excited to do that again, only a few short weeks later. And like Janet said, we're going to ask for you to keep this amongst ourselves until we go more live, but you're going to see in a few slides exactly when that stuff happens. So for sure, we've been on a wave. Want to mute all, Janet?
Yep, I'll do that.
Well, that's not what I need. I need this.
We're still hearing people.
Yep.
There we go. For sure, we've been on a nice wave, and we had this discussion. It was less than a month ago, Janet. I was like, we have plenty of people that have some of the requirements for promotion. We have many people that have not quite all, but we don't have enough of them that have all the requirements. And so that gave us reason to really sit down and study it. Let's look at exactly the state of how our leadership is as it concerns pursuing a promotion. And so that's what we're going to share today, some exciting news on that front. And as long as everyone can see my screen, you can see my screen good, Janet?
Yes, looks good.
So much of our pondering was to reflect back at whether or not we had accomplished this simplification that we had these aspirations to accomplish as we turned the corner into 2020. And the more we looked and the more we talked to each other and leaders in the field, we realized there were some things that carried over into 2020 that really didn't speak into this desire to make things as simple as they could possibly be. And so we're going to introduce some new things to you today that really lean into that. And so we looked at every single rule or requirement for achieving a title, and we look for ways to either simplify or even, if possible, actually remove that rule, to look for things that might be adding unnecessary complexity or maybe even unnecessary difficulty. And a big part of that was we wanted to restore convictions of what's possible. Do I really feel like what I'm going after towards the next title is possible, and possible for me and possible for my team? And what we wanted to do, because it was only a couple of weeks ago, we wanted to get ready to launch as fast as possible. And so we're actually launching today. So I'm going to go through, there's going to be a fair amount of detail. I'm going to try to show you kind of where it.
Sean,
I can't see it. I can't hear or see.
hold on one second, Paul.
There, can you hear me now, Janet?
I can. I tried to mute people again. Go
It
ahead,
told me
Hector.
3 times I couldn't unmute myself, so there might be a setting you hit. Okay, so let's just go to the next slide. This happened to you the other day. There. So good news. There's positive changes available for everyone. So I'm going to focus on what's changed first and what is actually thereafter being removed. So the first thing we're doing is we're lowering and we're phasing in the active team members that are required for an active team line. That was probably the biggest challenge for people to achieve as they went after the next rank, was this definition of how many active team members are required in each of the active team lines, or PB lines, performance bonus lines, in order to fulfill all the requirements. And so we are lowering them and phasing them up through the ranks. And I'll show you in a second exactly what those will be. We're also simplifying what is that active team member. And it's just simply going to become a person who has 225 in product volume. Okay. No more need to count customers underneath them. We believe that'll take care of itself just with the way we approach our business, but just simplifying how you go about trying to check all the boxes for achieving each of the requirements. We're also going to raise and phase in the maximum leg contribution rule, and raising it actually makes it a little bit easier. So you're going to see exactly how that works in a second, but this is the maximum volume you're allowed to contribute from any one leg towards the volume required of the next title. I'm going to show you in a second how that phases in. We also decided once we get above NMD that we would increase the so-called structure requirements, both in terms of PB and POB legs and team structure, every 2 titles instead of every title. And then things that we took opportunities to remove were a reference to using excess that may affect promotional approval. We just felt like that was kind of an exception and not a rule. And so why apply exceptions to everybody? It still could come into play, but let's just remove that as something people have to know and understand. So much of this is, can we reduce how much you have to know and understand in order to pursue something yourself or teach other people to do the same? There were also a lot of references to timing. Yeah, and a lot of the feedback we got was it's hard to time everything. And so we tried to remove at any place possible the requirements to where you had to have this done in that month and this done in the other month and more done in the final month kind of thing. So that created some significant simplicity. And we also decided to remove a title requirement for a given PB or POB line. So very simply, as you're required to have PB or POB lines, it doesn't matter what their titles are. They don't have to achieve higher titles there. It's just for a PB line, it's any QSC or higher. For a POB line, it's any SC or higher, because those are the titles that are eligible to be PB or POB qualified. So let's jump into some of these changes that showcase how this affects you. And good news is it gets even better. So for QSC through to QNMD, those 3 titles, the main thing that we've changed is point number 3. We're allowing for the maximum leg contribution to go from only 50% to up to 60%. Okay, so your max leg towards your volume requirement can now be 60% of the total. Nothing else really in this area has changed except for that requirement. And I think that will make it a lot easier for more people to meet all of the requirements. For NMD, there's a significant, and NMD and above, I'm going to show NMD first, there's a significant new enhancement to how the title rewards play out. And so if you're going for NMD, The first is in any 2 consecutive months that you achieve the 4 requirements like the ones you see above, any 2 consecutive months awards you the title and half of the title reward. And then when you proceed to in any 3 consecutive months, any 3, not the third, those 3 months can occur into the future after you got the first half. And then when you do that, you get the second half. Okay, and we're also going to allow for the maximum leg contribution to be 60% for any given leg. And so what that does is it puts that money on the table for everyone. The only question is, how long do you want to take or are you going to need in order to come and get it? Okay, so that's a new enhancement to where all of the title reward money from NMD and above is now on the table. It's only a question of time. And so the same thinking applies to IMD and above. It's just that for IMD, currently it's a 4-month consecutive 4-month time frame of consecutive performance. We're going to allow for in any 3 months, you meet the requirements below, and you achieve the title and the half of the title reward. And then when you proceed to string together any 4 consecutive months, again, that doesn't have to be the 4th, that can be any 4 in the future, you get the other half. And here we are going to keep the max leg contribution where it is today. It'll stay at 50% for IMD and higher. Okay, so lots of exciting things occurring there, and we think putting that money back on the table, it's only a question of time, will relieve kind of the time pressure that is in play at the moment for NMD or higher. Okay, how about some of the lower level titles? How did they change? Let's start with Partner Plus. What we have done is we have added an element for Partner Plus in that instead of 30 days, well, in addition to 30 days, if someone is able to, in their first 10 days from their first order, meet the exact same requirements, instead of getting $50, they get 100. Okay, so the 30-day opportunity is still on the table. So now you have 2. You got first 10 days or first 30 days from your first order. So same requirements, just giving people incentive to get in and go fast and go now. For QSC, we are putting back in play what was in play for the Come Join Us campaign, which was if you can achieve requirements for QSC in 30 days or less, the first 30 days from your first order, you would earn $400 instead of $300. And we would ask for a Partner Plus to be part of that requirement as well. And then also what's new in addition, 2 things that are new for Sales Coordinator. The first is the volume is going to change to 10,000 in promo PV instead of 12. And we're adding something similar for Sales Coordinator where in your first 90 days, from your first order, you meet the same requirements, and instead of 600 to you and your sponsor, you both could earn 700. That's for you, that's for the candidate and their sponsor. I guess you guys are all the sponsors if you're already above that title. So just extra money on the table if people want to compress time and go fast without any meaningful difference in what's required. Okay, let's talk about changes on team structure and performance bonus requirements for the ranks QSSC and higher. So on the left, you see what's in play now from a team structure requirement. How many people do you have to have at certain titles, and how many in particular active PB lines do you have to, or how many active team members do you have to have within each of your active PB lines? And you can see on the left that goes from QSSC at 4 to 6 and up to 8 at NMD. And what you're about to see on the right is how this is going to change. And we're going to highlight in orange what's different. And so for QSSC, we're only going to require 2 active team members in any given active PB line required there. And the team structure will remain the same. For SSC, we're going to only ask for 3 active team members in each of the active PB lines required. And the team structure will become just slightly easier, where we ask for 2 QSSCs, one of which has fast tracked, and just 1 SC instead of 2 compared to today. And then for QNMD, we're going to ask for 4 active team members in each of your active PB lines instead of 8. And in terms of team structure, we're going to go with 1 QSC who is fast tracked and 3 SCs rather than an SC and 2 QSSCs. So you can see we're asking for less title advancement in your team structure than we currently have. And as we look at how this is going to play out into the ranks NMD or higher, we're going to revert to 5 SCs instead of what you see on the left, and 5 active team members instead of 8. And for IMD, 3 sales coordinators and 2 QSSCs, as well as 6 active team members instead of 10 in each of the active PB lines. For EMD, 3 things are going to change. The team structure goes to 3 SCs and 2 QSSCs, and to 6 PB and 4 POB in terms of PB and POB structure. 6 active team members instead of 10. So you can see on the right now the changes are the same. The requirements are the same on the right side for IMD and EMD, and that's where I mentioned earlier, we only ask for more challenging structure every 2 titles above NMD, not every single title. And so when we proceed to PMD, we'll now ask for 3 QSSCs and 2 SSCs. And rather than 8 and 6, we'd ask for 6 and 5 for PB and POB. And rather than 10 active team members, we would ask for 6. And it maximizes at 6, because as you see, as you go to PMD plus, that active team member count stays at 6. So for all ranks above NMD, the active team member count is at 6. And then once you're going after PMD plus, it's still 5 strong legs, or just a little bit stronger. So 3 QSSCs and 2 SSCs. And then the PB and POB structure requirements are the same as what they are for PMD. So we just think these are the areas where people had some of the biggest challenges. These are still strong businesses to have this structure on the right. And so we feel confident that these are strong and stable businesses that are worthy of the awesome title rewards that we have on the table. And so when does all this start? Well, we want it to start as soon as possible. So everything starts in July. Okay, and so as it concerns the promo titles, whether it's Partner Plus or QSC or SC, people can use any day in July as the final day to finish either of the 2 approaches to those 3 titles. Whether you're doing it in the shortest time frame or the current time frame, all you need to do is have some of your requirements met in July, and you can go after it. Okay, we wanted to include July in the requirements because we wanted to drive sustained engagement through the summer. It's something important in our opinion. I hope yours too. We want to, like Janet said, we want to fly through summer like it wasn't even there. And historically, that's only occurred a couple of times. Usually summer globally is a downturn. We want to keep engagement up and activity up to where we can just get through July and August and really have a great fall. And so that's why July has to be part of anyone enjoying the new requirements for title. And so for the Payline titles, people will be required to use July as their final month in their time frame for qualifying. So if you are going for QSSC through QNMD, that's a 2-month window of requirement that has to be concluded in July. Okay, so you could count June and July. If you're going for NMD, you would get the first half by concluding in June and July as well, and you'd also get the title. Okay, and then you could proceed to get the other half of the title reward with 3 consecutive months if you're going for NMD. And then if you're going for above NMD, you remember it's a 3-month window to get the first half and the title, so that the earliest you could do it would be May, June, and July. That gets you the title and half of the title reward. And then you'd proceed to put together any 4 consecutive months after that to get the other half. So one more time, we really want to use July as a way to continue to drive sustained engagement to where people want to get a promotion from these new exciting rules. July has to be part of it. Okay, so hope that's super clear. We think that's important to drive through the summer. I'm sure you're having questions on, we talked about most of the end of last year that we were going to go in 2 steps around PB and POB volume requirements. We've decided just to put those on hold. So coming into 2021, they will not change. They will stay where they are now at 1,800 for PB volume and 5,400 for POB volume. So no plans to change those come 2021. That's on hold. All right, so here's where Janet's going to take you through exactly where we are and how ready we are in terms of the team and in terms of the materials. So I'll click for you, Janet, but
Okay.
Over to you.
Awesome. So guys, the comments are amazing. I know you're excited. Sean and I and the sales team, we're super excited, stoked, I think we could say. Phase 1 and Phase 2 are on your virtual office as of, I believe right now, under guidelines and agreements, also under the What's New section. We also have them, thank you, Brian Rose, up on the Freedom Revolution. We've taken down, since we've been on this call, anything that pertained to the old version, and coaching sheets, worksheets. We got Don Rathman and team working on those, and the goal is to have those up ASAP. If I was a betting woman, I'd say that'd probably be tomorrow. So everything that you're going to need is available. But I don't want you to have to go to the VO right now or the Freedom Revolution. So let me just walk you through some of the highlights. I'm just going to touch on a few things, probably answer some of the questions. So this is the new look and feel. We've made it cleaner, more modern. Most of the content on here is exactly the same content. We've only tweaked the things that Sean made reference to. So this is what it looks like when you go. This is Phase 1. So Sean, let's go to the next one. This is the first 4 titles: Partner, Partner Plus, QSC, and Sales Coordinator. Again, on here, you're going to note there's an Express Track option along with the Fast Track, and the Express Track rewards both the individual who does it in the warp speed way as well as their sponsor. So an additional $50 for the Partner Plus, so a gift of $100. QSC, if they do it in 30 days or less, an additional $100 gift for a total of $400. And the Sales Coordinator, do it in 90 days or 3 months, and it's also an additional $100 gift, so it'd be $700. So super exciting structure and all of those requirements. First order ship date, I saw that question pop up a few minutes ago, but all the volume requirement on Partner Plus and QSC stayed the same. But great news, Sales Coordinator, we brought that volume down. It used to be 12,000, now it's 10. So, but all the rest of the requirements right there are staying the same. It's just like what you've gotten used to over the course of the last couple of months. So restarts. If a person wants to restart, yes, of course they can, but in order to be eligible for the Express Track money, they have to do it within their first 10, 30, or 90 days. So you can, yes, restart and get the original bonuses, title rewards rather, but if you want to quickly go through, it's within your first set of days. So that was one question I noticed. So super exciting. Nothing else really in the Phase 1 document changed dramatically. So let's just look really quickly at the Phase 2 document. So Phase 2, obviously it's the exact same front cover, but on the inside, we did take some opportunity to update a couple things. So you heard from Sean that PB and POB, we're not changing those requirements as we had initially said. So we went ahead and in this document and took everything back down. So performance bonus, all the examples here and the statements are built around 1,800, as well as the POB bonus, everything's reverted back to 5,400. So examples inside the document, we're back down to the where we started from. Next slide. So this is what the inside is going to look like. We've removed the pictures of the individual people, made it a little bit more modern. a little bit easier on the eye to read, but the following kind of flow has remained the same. Always going to start with the requirements, qualifications rather, your volume. There was a question, Sean, earlier in the chat. Are we changing volume? The answer to that is no, other than at the sales coordinator level. So everybody's volume is going to remain the same. And then team structure, you heard from Sean a few moments ago, how we're lightening up those requirements. So all the team structure comes next, and then the bonus requirements, which we have eliminated the clutter there, lightened the load on customer count and active team member number, and just made it really super simple. We don't want anything to trip you up. We also, over in the small circles, we've indicated the months that you would need to meet those requirements consecutively in order to be eligible for title and or title reward, whether that be a 50% reward or a full reward. And Sean, if you can go to the next slide, we get to see Q NMD. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the two bubbles for NMD. At that level, that's where we're going to have the opportunity for you to receive payout in two different increments. So meet 2 months of the requirements consecutively, earn the NMD title and 50% of the reward. And then when you meet the requirements 3 consecutive months, so it could be the very next month if you do 2 + 1, voila, there's your 3, and you'll get the remaining 50%. However, in the past, if you didn't make it, you never had the opportunity to go back. In today's world, moving forward, we want to leave those dollars on the table for you. We know life happens. So let's just say that second month comes and goes, something occurs, and you need to, a little bit later in your journey, rebuild and reposition yourself for promotion to IMD. We're going to reward you with the remaining 50% of your title bonus when you have 3 consecutive months of meeting all those requirements. And then we go to the next page and you'll see IMD and EMD. We have, as you've heard from Sean, the requirement, the qualifications, the team structure, and the bonus requirements for those 2 positions are exactly the same. So we've allowed them to share space on the page, as is the case for PMD and PMD plus. The only thing that's different will be the volumes associated with each title. And there are 2 opportunities to receive your payout: your title and your first half of your title reward, and then meet consecutively following that at any time, and we'll reward you with the second half. So if you go to the last slide, everybody's been asking, is there a summary? Yes, there is a summary. It's in the phase 2 document. Everything that I know that you've been snapping photos and making notes and taking pictures of, because we're all enthusiastic and we want to get started right away. These documents are available for you now. This is a summary sheet, which is included in your phase 2. So it's a quick reference guide. Can't wait for you guys to get your hands on these materials and start having conversations with your teams, making sure that they understand it's less complicated. The journey through the progression of your comp titles should be much easier and less cumbersome. We are here as your sales team to support you along that way, as I know your uplines are as well. And so if you go to the last slide, I know everybody's like, when can I start submitting my promotions? July business promotions are ready to be submitted utilizing this email address, leadershiptrack.us@juiceplus.com. You just submit your promotions there for QSSCs and higher. And that will go directly to Tanya Oxley and her business development specialist so that we can partner with you. And by the way, guys, they make themselves available. They are there for your use. Make sure that you're leveraging that relationship with Tanya and the business development specialist, because we want to help you get promoted. And sometimes we recognize that either a phone call comes in, maybe to the call center on a higher level promotion question. Just make sure that you're always utilizing that relationship with your business development specialist, because we want to make sure that we don't create any slowdown in your progress at all. So
and maybe
Sean,
perhaps to clarify, Janet,
yeah.
a July business has to be concluded before any promotion request for QSSE or higher can be submitted, right? Because July
correct.
has to be part of the window
That is correct. So let's get all the way through July. So we're going to take the next 2.5 weeks or so. Everybody, you know, pedal to the metal. Let's blow through July like it's not even here and get these promotions ready to submit at the end of the month of July for July business. So I know, guys, this is super exciting. You're going to want to give yourself a little bit of time to absorb, ask some questions. Let's get the answers to you right so that we don't create confusion among our teams. Hence the reason for bringing you in first. I would also ask that you use the resources that we've provided for you. I know we all get creative and you like your language a little bit better maybe than the way we've said it. It might be really smart coming straight out of the gate. Let's use the documents that we have. I'm promising you that your coaching sheets, worksheets are coming really soon, very quickly. So just stay tuned. We'll get that message out to you right away as soon as we get them posted. But there's no need for you to go out and recreate anything. Let's just all use the pieces as we have them. That way we're all talking the same language at all times. So Sean, how about if we unmute the phones so that we can hear from everybody? I know people have been enthusiastic. So I'd like to hear from a few of you. If you want to give us a shout out, tell us what you think. Let's unmute the phone.
So I have to speed read the comments, Janet. It's hard to keep up with. Can you find the unmute all button?
I'm trying. I can get the mute all. I want to unmute. Okay, everybody, just unmute yourself.
So exciting.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Gracias.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
A plus, A plus. Fantastic.
I'm literally crying.
Thank you.
This is awesome.
So amazing.
And
Thank
the
you,
t-shirt.
Sean. Thank you, everybody at corporate.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
thank you,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We need a strap t-shirt.
Thank you.
Juice Plus. Thank you, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Corporate has been missing.
Thank you so much.
They couldn't have done anything more. It's
I
amazing.
love seeing my Youth Plus family. It's the best.